Coffee Break Swedish, Season 1, Lesson 32. Hej och välkomna till Coffee Break Swedish. Jag heter Mark.
Och jag heter Hanna.
Hur mår du, Hanna?
Jag mår bra, Mark. Hur mår du?
Ja, jag mår bra, men idag är jag lite trött.
Ja, varför då?
Jag har... let me see if I can get this. Jag har arbetat för mycket. For how do you say too much?
Yeah, I was going to say that's Norwegian.
Yeah, see, this is what always happens.
But Norwegian, it was very good Norwegian.
Okay.
Mycket.
Mycket, för mycket. Så för mycket.
Ja, perfekt.
So just the same för as in för att träna på min svenska, ja?
Ja, absolut.
För mycket. Jag har arbetat för mycket. So I have been working too hard. Jag har arbetat, jag har jobbat. I just added a T. Is that okay?
Yes, it sounds like you listen to me, Mark. I like it.
I think the great thing is that it's actually quite easy. And I think so used to other languages where forming a past tense can be more tricky. In Swedish, it's great that you can simply just add a T to your infinitive for most situations, I guess. There are some exceptions. Would I be right in saying that?
Yes, there's always exceptions. But I was wondering because we talked a bit about perfect last time and that we just add a T. And if you would have a simple past tense on arbeta or jobba, how do you think you do it then? Do you remember?
I think you said, because we were talking about, I can't remember the exact verb that we were talking about, but is it adding a d at the end? Jobbade?
Yes. So we have more complicated ones, but most of them is just add a de.
Right, so could I say jag arbetade för mycket?
Ja, precis.
So I worked, like last week I worked too long, too much. Jag arbetade för mycket.
Jag arbetade för mycket.
Jag arbetade för mycket. Okay. Enough about that. We are traveling on our virtual journey to Sweden and we've reached the airport, and right at the end of the last episode, Lovisa set me a challenge.
Yes. I think she wants you to get some tickets and go to Örebro.
Ja, precis. Ska vi börja?
Ja, låt oss börja.
So Lovisa's challenge to me was to go to the information desk at the airport and find out how to get from there to Örebro. Let's have a listen to our conversation. Hej!
Hej, vad kan jag hjälpa dig med?
Jag vill åka till Örebro. Vet du hur jag kan åka dit?
Ja, absolut. Antingen kan du ta Arlanda Express från flygplatsen till Stockholm central och vidare till Örebro med tåg. Eller så kan du åka buss direkt från flygplatsen till Örebro.
Jaha, vad kostar det?
Arlanda Express kostar 299 kronor för en vuxen. För ungdomar mellan 18 och 25 år kostar det 149 kronor. Tåget från Stockholm till Örebro brukar kosta runt 430 kronor och bussen runt 300 kronor enkelresa.
Okej, hur lång tid tar det att åka buss?
Cirka 2,5 timme. Nästa buss går om 2 timmar och nästa tåg om 45 minuter.
Och med tåget, hur lång tid tar det?
Kanske 3 timmar totalt. Tåget är lite dyrare, men är nog lite mer bekvämt. Har ni mycket bagage?
Min fru har en resväska. Jag har en resväska också och en kameraväska.
Om ni har en resväska var och en kameraväska är det nog lättare att ta tåget.
Okej, då tror jag vi tar tåget. Tack så mycket.
Inga problem. Stationen ligger däråt.
Now, Hannah, one of the key things about this conversation is all those numbers, numbers and times and money. And
I was also thinking that he spoke very quickly.
He did. Yeah, he did. What I think we'll do now is go back through the conversation and we can talk about all of the language in this. And of course, you can say things nice and slowly, and we'll get into the language in greater detail before listening to the conversation once again towards the end of the lesson. So I was speaking to the man at the information desk, and I began by saying, "Hey." What did he say in reply?
Hej, vad kan jag hjälpa dig med?
Right. Hannah, I've got a question here about the stress in this sentence. You said, "Hej, vad kan jag hjälpa dig med?" And that was pretty much the same way as the man at the information desk said it. But why is the stress on dig? What can help you with?
Well, we love stresses in Swedish, don't we? And I guess we could say, vad kan jag hjälpa dig med? Absolutely. But if we put the stress on they, then we emphasize that particular person. And I can imagine on an information desk that he just spoken to another person, and then he turned to you, and it's what can I help you with?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So it would be absolutely okay to say, vad kan jag hjälpa dig med?
Yeah, and it's probably sound a little bit more polite.
Okay. As opposed to, vad kan jag hjälpa dig med? What can I help you with?
What did you do, Mark?
I was very polite, I promise. Okay, so I then explained what I wanted to do.
Ja, jag vill åka till Örebro. Vet du hur jag kan åka dit?
So I think this is quite funny because it's as if I've just arrived in a foreign country and I have made no plans whatsoever. Okay, we've already explained that these conversations are created in order to give us further practice of this. But the idea is that we're travelling to Sweden, to Örebro, to meet Lovisa's family. But at this stage, we're saying, jag vill åka till Örebro. I want to travel to Örebro. Vet du hur jag kan åka dit? Do you know how I can travel there?
Ja, precis. And I'm very impressed that you say dit. And why do you think I am impressed with that?
As opposed to, what else could I have said?
We could say där.
Right.
Or we can't say där.
No, we can't say
That's
där.
the issue.
So där is there, but I think dit would be to there.
Yes, exactly. So we have a long list of things that is different if it's static or that we are traveling to a place.
Okay. And am I right in thinking that we also have the equivalent with här and hit?
Exactly. So if I would tell you to come here, I would say kom hit.
Kom hit, yeah. I've in fact, I'm sure I know a song that has kom hit in it. So kom hit, come here. And dit is the opposite of that. So that's to there or to here. Dit, hit. Vet du hur jag kan åka dit? How I can travel there. Good.
People should really listen to songs, I think, when they learn languages. It's excellent.
I know. And you know what? We've got to lesson 32, and we've still not talked about ABBA's new album, but that's not for this episode.
No, but it's coming.
It's coming, no doubt, yeah. Let's hear what the man at the information desk said in response to this.
Ja, he said, ja, absolut. Antingen kan du ta Arlanda Express från flygplatsen till Stockholm central och vidare till Örebro med tåg. Eller så kan du åka buss direkt från flygplatsen till Örebro. I think we will divide this up.
Yeah,
it's a long
absolutely,
reply.
Yeah. But we've got an interesting kind of construction here because you've got antingen eller. So is that like either or?
Yes. So antingen, either, or eller, or.
Okay. So let's look at the either bit first. So antingen.
Antingen kan du ta Arlanda Express från flygplatsen till Stockholm central och vidare till Örebro med tåg.
Right. So either you can take the Arlanda Express from the airport, från flygplatsen, till Stockholm central, so to Stockholm Central Station. And then you said och vidare till Örebro med tåg. And then onwards, vidare further to Örebro med tåg with the train.
Yes, perfekt, jättebra.
And it's interesting to see the antingen kan du rather than antingen du kan.
Yes, so remember, if we start a sentence with a adverb in this case, but not a subject, then we swap subject and verb.
Antingen kan du ta Arlanda Express. Okay, so either can you take the Arlanda Express from the airport to Stockholm Central och vidare and further on or onwards till Örebro med tåg by train.
Eller så kan du åka buss direkt från flygplatsen till Örebro.
So we've got our or part here. Eller så kan du åka buss. Or you can take the bus direkt från flygplatsen till Örebro. Direct, a direct bus from the airport to Örebro. What's the så doing in there?
We love to say så in Swedish, and you probably hear that when, and I'm sorry to all the listeners, I say a lot of so in English, and that's because I'm Swedish, and I say så in Swedish.
Okay, so it's just in there to pad it out a little. Eller så kan du, yeah.
We like our stresses and padding things out.
Okay, so then I was so pleased to use this jaha. I said, jaha, vad kostar det? What does it cost?
Yes, and you sounded so Swedish when you said it.
What does it cost then?
Well, take a deep breath while I'm saying this and just think. Arlanda Express kostar 299 kronor för en vuxen. So that's the first part.
Okay, so we've got some numbers in there. So Arlanda Express kostar 299 kronor. So it costs 299 kronor. För en vuxen, for an adult.
Yes. Good. So you remember when we talked about tickets long time ago about vuxen.
Yep.
And next part. För ungdomar mellan 18 och 25 år kostar det 149 kronor.
Lots of numbers in there. För ungdomar, for young people, mellan 18 och 25 år, so between 18 and 25 years old, kostar det 149 kronor. So it costs 149 kronor.
Ja, perfekt. Tåget från Stockholm till Örebro brukar kosta runt 430 kronor och bussen runt 300 kronor enkelresa.
In our last lesson we learned runt as in to travel around. So can we use runt with a price for being around?
Yes.
Okay. So there's another word in here, another verb that I think I know what it means just from the context, but it's bruka.
Ja, it's a verb that you don't have, but we do. So my students either love or hate it. And it's it means kind of usually.
Yeah. I think we've probably got something similar with tend to do something. It tends to cost. Because when this is a random aside, but when I'm teaching Spanish and we use the verb soler in Spanish, which it means exactly the same thing, and I always translate that with it tends to cost rather than it usually costs or normally costs, because tend is a verb and we can use it in a verbal sense. So bruka, we'll imagine that as tend to do something, bruka, and we've got a straight infinitive after that.
Yeah, kosta. So because brukar in Swedish is a verb, you know that if we have two verbs in a sentence, that the second verb will be in infinitive.
Good, okay. So looking at the sentence then, tåget från Stockholm till Örebro brukar kosta runt 430 kronor. So the train from Stockholm to Örebro tends to cost around 430 kronor och bussen runt 300 kronor and the bus around 300 kronor. Enkel resa, is that one way, a single journey?
Yes. We learned this in the train episode long time ago.
Yep. It's nice to revisit vocabulary from earlier episodes. Hannah, can you read that whole thing again? But imagine you are a very busy person at an airport information desk and give it as quickly as you probably would do in real life.
Arlanda Express kostar 299 kronor för en vuxen. För ungdomar mellan 18 och 25 år kostar det 149 kronor. Tåget från Stockholm till Örebro brukar kosta runt 430 kronor och bussen runt 300 kronor enkelresa.
It's much easier when we've been through it before. We've been through it already. But yeah, it's nice to hear the numbers quickly like that. Okay, so after all those numbers, I think we need a little break. We'll be back in just a moment.
All the Coffee Break Swedish podcast episodes are free, but did you know there's a full online course available?
We offer video versions of the lessons where you see the words and phrases on the screen of your device. There are lesson notes providing further information and additional vocabulary, and a bonus audio episode for every lesson.
To find out more about our online course, go to coffeebreakswedish.com.
Okay, we are at our information desk in Arlanda Airport and we're finding out about onwards travel to Örebro. We've just heard all the prices and then I have another question. So what did I ask, Hannah?
Okej, hur lång tid tar det att åka buss?
So this is interesting because in English we would say how long does it take to go by bus? But in Swedish we're saying how long time does it take? Do we need the time? Do we need the tid in there?
Yes, you do. If the only time you would just say hur långt is when we talk about distance, and then we would add a t on the end as well. So hur långt är det till Örebro? That implies like how far is it to Örebro?
So we'd be listening for a number of kilometers rather than a number of hours or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, good. So hur lång tid tar det att åka buss? How long does it take by bus? What was the answer?
Cirka 2,5 timme.
All right, so cirka, around, 2,5 timme. So 2.5 hours.
Ja, nästa buss går om 2 timmar och nästa tåg om 45 minuter.
Now we've seen this use of before when it's referring to within a particular amount of time. It's not, it goes at 2 o'clock, it goes within or in 2 hours time. So nästa buss går om 2 timmar, it goes in 2 hours time. Och nästa tåg om 45 minuter, in 45 minutes.
Exactly, and om is just another preposition, so you would say in English, next bus is in 2 hours. Instead of saying in as you do in English, we would just say om.
Okay, good. So we've identified the time and the length of the journey by bus, but I also want to know about the time or the length of the journey by train.
Så jag ask, och med tåget, hur lång tid tar det?
Right, so och med tåget, and with the train, literally, hur lång tid tar det? How long time does it take?
Kanske 3 timmar totalt.
So kanske 3 timmar totalt, so perhaps 3 hours in total?
Ja, precis.
Okay. Kanske, am I right in thinking that we could have said kanske?
Yes, when I speak, I say kanske. And it's so many versions of kanske in Swedish dialects.
Okay.
So.
But you will recognize it either way, whether it's kanske or kanske. But ultimately it's perhaps 3 hours in total.
Yes. And then he says, tåget är lite dyrare, men det är nog lite mer bekvämt. Har ni mycket bagage?
Right, so the train is lite dyrare. It's a little dearer. It's more expensive.
Ja.
Men det är nog lite mer bekvämt. So bekvämt, I think we've seen before. It definitely reminds me of a German word meaning comfortable.
Yes.
It's a little more comfortable. What's this nog?
It's probably. So it's one of those words that just softens up a sentence, and it doesn't sound like this person is not sure, but he can imagine that it's a little bit more comfortable.
So the train is a little more expensive, but it's probably a little more comfortable. Nog lite mer bekvämt. And then he asks, har ni mycket bagage? Do you have lots of luggage?
Ja, precis. And you say, min fru har en resväska. Jag har en resväska också, och en kameraväska.
Right, so resväska, we heard this word in our last episode, at least in the bonus episode, is some bonus vocabulary. So my wife has a suitcase, en resväska. Jag har en resväska också. I also have a suitcase. Och en kameraväska and a camera bag.
Ja. Om ni har en resväska var och en kameraväska är det nog lättare att ta tåget.
Right, so this introduced a new word for me, this var. Can you explain a bit about that?
Yeah, so var means, in this instance, because we recognize var from
it's a verb.
Other... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It means each.
Right, okay, because that's when I first read this and heard it, the var, I was trying to work out whether it meant was in there, part of vara.
Yeah.
But here, om ni har en resväska var, if you have one suitcase each, och en kameraväska and a camera bag, är det nog lättare att ta tåget. So we've got the nog in there. It's probably easier to take the train.
Ja, precis. And I'm impressed that you understood the om, because most of my students really hate the word om, because you can use it so many different places. And
yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's here just if, it's like an if.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you reply then, okay, då tror jag vi tar tåget. Tack så mycket.
Right, so då tror jag vi tar tåget. Kind of in that case, I think we'll take the train.
Ja.
And I say thank you very much. Tack så mycket.
Inga problem, stationen ligger däråt.
So no problem, inga problem. Stationen, the station, ligger däråt. It is over there.
Yes, so the åt implies that is over.
It's over there again. I think so much of it is from context, and obviously if he's pointing to the station as we're standing at the information desk, then that would make perfect sense. So this has been really good to go through the conversation in greater detail, and now what we'll do is listen to the full thing again. And I think having gone through it and worked through all of the vocabulary and picked up on some of these interesting words like the nog in particular, I think it should make more sense. Let's have another listen. Hej!
Hej, vad kan jag hjälpa dig med?
Jag vill åka till Örebro. Vet du hur jag kan åka dit?
Ja, absolut. Antingen kan du ta Arlanda Express från flygplatsen till Stockholm central och vidare till Örebro med tåg. Eller så kan du åka buss direkt från flygplatsen till Örebro.
Jaha, vad kostar det?
Arlanda Express kostar 299 kronor för en vuxen. För ungdomar mellan 18 och 25 år kostar det 149 kronor. Tåget från Stockholm till Örebro brukar kosta runt 430 kronor och bussen runt 300 kronor enkelresa.
Okej, hur lång tid tar det att åka buss?
Cirka 2,5 timme. Nästa buss går om 2 timmar och nästa tåg om 45 minuter.
Och med tåget, hur lång tid tar det?
Kanske 3 timmar totalt. Tåget är lite dyrare, men är nog lite mer bekvämt. Har ni mycket bagage?
Min fru har en resväska. Jag har en resväska också och en kameraväska.
Om ni har en resväska var och en kameraväska är det nog lättare att ta tåget.
Okej, då tror jag vi tar tåget. Tack så mycket.
Inga problem. Stationen ligger däråt.
So there we have it. I hope that made more sense this time round. We are going to leave this lesson there. We hope you've enjoyed it. In our bonus lesson that we'll be we're just about to record that now, and you can listen to that on the Coffee Break Academy. The bonus lesson will feature some interesting vocabulary for train travel and bus travel, and also some translation challenges. And as part of the course that Coffee Break Swedish offers, we have video lessons, we've got lesson notes, and this bonus audio materials. And all of that can be found at coffeebreakacademy.com.
We also want to remind you that you can practice your Swedish on our Facebook page. We post regular language and culture tips, and we love to read your comments. Just search for Coffee Break Swedish on Facebook.
That's where we're going to leave it this time. Next time, well, we will be checking into the hotel. For now, tack så mycket. Hej då!
Hej då!
You have been listening to a Coffee Break Languages production for the Radiolingua Network. Copyright 2021 Radiolingua Limited. Recording copyright 2021 Radiolingua Limited. All rights reserved.